What if you took Vientos from third, put him at first, and you put Bregman at third? I think that's a great, setup. And then you sign Corbin Burns to go in the rotation.
Look, dude.
I'm in love with the good life. Can't give it up. Make it to the top. Keep climbing. I wanna live it up. The good life. I'm coming up. I'm coming up. The good life. Good life. Oh, good life. Good life. Good life.
Boom! Coming in hot, Chinchy. What's going on, man?
You almost jumped the countdown.
Jumped the gun. I know. It was like a 2.
It's so fun before the show, guys. Sean's got his hand up like this. It's like his trigger, getting ready to hit a double on a fastball in, dude. It's so funny.
You got to load your hands, bro. You got to get them loaded.
Literally,
I'm like Otani, preloaded hands.
He really does that before. It's so funny. Hey, dude, we got a lot going on. This you forget everybody's talking about Juan Soto. There's so much else going on, and where Soto goes, that means the other big fish teams are picking and choosing from different angles. So I'm going to start with one today. Jeff Passan had this, and all the Fireside Yanks people and all those guys are saying you got to start thinking of a backup plan for no Soto, and the Yankees might have a backup plan to get Teoscar Hernandez. Interesting.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. I honestly go back to the Blue Jays a few years ago, bro. He was their big power guy.
Yeah, 30 and 100, dude.
And then they just I didn't like that trade.
Mm-hmm.
They just moved him. It was like a weird, the Blue Jays kind of moved him. I think we even talked about that, at one point. They went and then they traded Lourdes Gurriel, and the catcher there for Varsho, which great. Varsho's a great outfielder, best outfielder in baseball probably, but I still think you got to bang to win ball games. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And then and then they let Teoscar go to where? Seattle for like a reliever. I think for Swanson or something like that, like for a reliever. I was like,
yeah,
you just lost. Like, and everyone was like, well, the reason the Blue Jays offense is so good is because of Vladdy and Bo. And I was like, you go back and look at those teams. Teoscar Hernandez was probably the reason. And he gave great protection too.
Sure. Absolutely. So, huge protection in that lineup.
Huge protection.
That far down in the lineup to be a 30 homer guy. You're right. Toronto, 2021 in Toronto, he had 296 with 32 and 116.
There you go.
Yeah, and then don't forget, Seattle, that's where hitters go to die, right? We've been saying that?
Yeah.
He had 93 RBIs and 26 bombs in Seattle.
In Seattle, dude.
And then last year, 33 and 99, probably one of his more complete years, 272 batting. He's a good hitter, too. He's not like he's not
can hit.
He's not that 40 guy that hits 30 homers anymore. He
can hit. He was so huge for the Dodgers this year, dude, especially when Betts went down for a considerable time. Like, everyone talks about Otani, and then Freeman kind of had a weird year. There was a lot of injuries. He had this stuff with his son, Max. It was a tough year for Freddie Freeman. If they don't have Teoscar Hernandez, dude, I don't think they win it. I actually don't. I think he was that big a deal that if Teoscar Hernandez is not up, if they don't make that pickup for a 1-year deal, I don't think they're World Series champs. And he had the game-winning hit in Game 5. Dude, and how many big hits did he have during the postseason, dude?
Dude, the Padres series, which was arguably going into it the scariest series for them. He had 2 homers and 7 ribbies, and he was 333 batting average there. Didn't do great against the Mets, but none of their hitters did great against the Mets. If you remember, they only had a couple. But then in the World Series, dude, 350, a bomb, 4 ribbies in 5 games. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Those are impactful runs.
Yeah. So
I like that, dude. And also, too, the Yankees got to see it firsthand. They got to see his impact firsthand. And when you see it firsthand, if you're Cashman and Randy Levine, those guys up in the booth, you're like, hey, wouldn't you like to have this guy in our lineup?
Yeah, not even that, dude. Aren't you seeing, you see your GMs, your entire staff is down watching BP all the time. You see those guys face to face. You see their builds. You see the way they interact with their teammates. You're learning a lot in a postseason series against the team about the person too. I think.
Yeah. No, I know, and they say he's a great guy, man. Seems like a great guy. He was on MLB Network the other night talking to Greg and those guys, and
nice,
great guy.
Excellent. Yeah,
I think he won the Silver Slugger.
I would say he
I
must.
know he was. I know he was up for it.
Let's see. Hold on. Let me just double check. Give him his love. Gold. Oh, I'm sorry. Silver Slugger. You know, I have a Silver Slugger award in my basement here.
Who?
I did the first Silver Slugger Awards in MLB Network history, and Karen Rittner, who was the manager of operations at the time, gave me one just as a thanks.
That's awesome.
It really is. I like shine it every once in a while.
That's awesome.
I think you might have won that year. You might be on it. It has a list of all the names. No, you weren't there. You retired. Anyway, so moving along. So again, here's a quick question before we move on to a couple other things we want to talk about. With Soto, don't you think like he could sign early, right? There's no matching market. There's no market. He just needs to talk to his teams and figure out what he wants, because it's not like he's waiting for Shohei. Or
He's not even setting the market. He's in his own. He's in his own stratosphere.
Exactly. Now, Pete Alonso, guys like that, Bregman, who we're going to talk about.
Yeah, Willie Adames, Corbin Burns, Blake Snell.
Yeah, those are your first of all, those are backup plans this year. In any other year, those are your front loaded plans.
Right.
But Soto is out there, so I wonder if he actually does maybe kind of set them. I mean, well, again, there's no market. It's not like Boris can say, "Oh, I got Soto this much, so now you have to give, Pete Alonso this much," or whoever else is on his
right
list. So that being said, if you're the other guys, you're not waiting for anybody at this point. And you got great guys, the guys you just named. So you want to pick off a couple of these names. And
also, too, I want to throw out really quick, Travis d'Arnaud signed a 2-year, $12 million deal with the Angels. That's a nice pickup, dude. That's a nice pickup for the Angels right there, especially because I think the staff loves d'Arnaud behind the dish. So I think that's a great pickup. You're starting to see some of those kind of guys go. But I think the other top guys, when you talk about who are the next guys after Soto? I think Corbin Burns is probably one there. He's the number 2 guy sitting there, because I think with him you get impact and durability, and I think that's one of the big things. What's the one thing they were saying? I was reading it. We talked about the best. It says right here about it talks about just Ian Snell is like the biggest thing with Snell is like availability is your best. Your best thing when you're signing a starter like that for $30 million a year, you need to have availability. And the one thing with Snell is like, the guy gets hurt a couple times a year. He might not give you 30 starts, but when he does give you big starts, in the second half of last year, he had like a 140, dominated, absolutely dominated. So I think I look at Burns and I go, I'm going to get 30 starts from this guy. This guy's he's going to be durable. He's going to be available. And that's the one impact you see from Corbin Burns. So any team out there, man, I would make a big run. This is a top of the rotation guy, Cy Young candidate every year, and he's available. That's huge. So he's the first guy I'd go to, Chinch. And I think when obviously Blake Snell has a huge upside. I just don't know as far as like his health sometimes.
Right.
On the years he won the Cy Young, he didn't get hurt. On the other years, he doesn't play a ton. So
like a Brett Saberhagen type career. Remember every other year Brett Saberhagen would have been like the Cy Young, and then other year he'd be like 6 and 9. You're not certain. I mean, look, Snell put himself in the position he wanted to be in 2 years ago. So good for him. Real quick, Mark Feinsand took a bunch to your point about Burns. He took a bunch of executives and he had them vote for the second biggest free agent behind Soto. Let's see, 8 plus 5, that's 13, 14, 15, 16 votes total. 8 of them went to Burns. Willie Adames got 5 votes. Blake Snell got 2, and Max Fried got 1. So that's who some executives are thinking are the next big fish on the.
Interesting that Bregman is not in there. And who would you rather have? Would you rather have Adames or Bregman? Because I think when you look at Bregman's numbers, here's the one thing though, Chinch. You look at Bregman's numbers and we think, oh man, this guy's got, he's a big time player. You look at Bregman after finishing second in the AL MVP voting in 2019 with 41 bombs, 112 ribbies, over 1,000 OPS. Bregman hasn't come close to those numbers again, and he posted a career low 768 OPS this year. Obviously, got off to a really slow start. But the guy, one of the executives was saying that he'll take the guy who's 1.5 years younger and plays shortstop recently, which is Adames. And they also talk about Adames just one of the best dudes you could have in your clubhouse. One of the best guys who makes everybody better around him. We talked to Pat Murphy over in, this year in the mayor's office, and he was saying, like, I can't get this. I tried to give this guy a day off, and he came into my office and was like, what am I doing? What are you doing? Get me in the lineup. That's the kind of guy that's the kind of guy you build around.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, he's a great guy because they're not like kicking him on his way out. Like they know they can't afford him. They know he played so well for them. And they're like thanking him by saying, we can't afford you. Go somewhere else kind of thing. That's kind of what it feels like there. It's like, it's a foregone conclusion. He kind of outpriced himself from staying there, but everybody loves him.
Right. He's just, Milwaukee's not going to be able to keep him. I got something for you when I think of Bregman. I don't know, maybe this is out there to think about it, but we talk about Alonso, where he's going to end up. I actually think Houston would be a great place for him.
Oh, yeah.
I think it'd be a great place. I think also the Yankees might be a great place for him. I mean, there's a lot of different places for Alonso, but I don't know if he's going to sign back with the Mets. And if he doesn't, and you talk about Bregman, I think, what if you took Vientos from third, put him at first, and you put Bregman at third? I think that's a great, setup. Then you sign Corbin Burns to go in the rotation.
Look, dude, listen, man. Hey, first of all, their front office is proving and has proven over the last couple of years they know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
Big time. I like that, dude. First of all, Vientos, he's made some great plays at third base. He did make great plays, but I think he does.
He's a first baseman.
He looks like a first baseman.
And he's got some thunder, you know what I mean?
Yeah, let him concentrate more on his offense and then just being that first baseman. I think he'll be a good first baseman. I don't know how great he would be, but I think he'll be fine there. And I think you're upgrading. I mean, look, no offense to Pete Alonso. I don't think he can catch a pop-up. There's just something there. He's got like a yips type of thing. I think he does great at stretching, but he doesn't have too much range. Yeah. So it's not
he's pretty decent over there.
I like him over there.
He does pretty good. He's worked hard over there. He's pretty good. He's pretty good over there. I know what you're saying. Like, it's like he's not elite, but he's still above average, I think.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. But I think I think Vientos and Bregman, you probably do. If you look at what Alonso did this year in a down year, Vientos has proven that he might be that power guy that stays there, and you're adding the power of Bregman. I like that, dude. I think that infield. Look at that infield. Then.
Yeah, I think it would be huge. Bregman and Lindor on the left side. Wow.
Yep.
And Bregman can pick it over there at third, dude.
Yeah, and by the way, you have what's his name? We didn't talk about too much because he didn't play too much in a postseason. But what's his name's brother? You got there who might be your second baseman.
Oh, Acuna.
Yeah, Acuna.
Yeah.
And I still think you sign. I think anybody could use the oh my god guy on any team. What's his name? Iglesias.
Oh, Iglesias.
Keep him and let him play.
You got to bring Iglesias back, dude. You kidding me? He saved your season.
Positions. He
saved your season.
He's number one on the Latin pop charts too.
Exactly, number one on the Latin pop charts, and he saved your season. You got to bring this guy back.
That's a good one. So a couple other guys out there. The pitching. Here's the Soto thing is like making us all stop talking about other big guys, but there's good pitching out there, dude. There are closers out there, right? That you can trade for. Hold on, let me do this real quick. There's an MLB.
There's a lot of starters too. We talk about Burns, Snell, Sasaki, Max Fried's out there, dude.
Exactly.
Max Fried's been one of the best lefties, and I among the 67 pitchers who have thrown at least 500 innings over the past 5 seasons, Fried sports easily the best ERA plus ahead of Burns and Wheeler. Mm-hmm. This guy's a stud, dude. When he's on, watch out. Right. Jack Flaherty's sitting at 5. Sean Manaea, dude's at 6.
How about that?
If he's sitting at 6, no way, dude. This guy, I would take Manaea over right now with what he looked like last year and the adjustment he made, dropping down to that arm angle, 16-degree arm angle. I would take him definitely over Jack Flaherty.
Agreed.
And I'm putting him right there. I'm probably putting Manaea in that same category as Fried and Snell. Maybe he's sitting at 5, but I think he's, for me, better than Jack Flaherty.
So you think the Mets need to re-sign him, right? You want
yeah. Oh my, dude, that should be a high on the list. Yeah. Seriously,
I kind of
Mendoza should be in Stevie Cohen's office right now, saying, "Please bring back Manaea."
I'll call Jess. No.
Yeah, call Jess. See if she can make some calls.
Yeah, dude. But there's a lot.
Yeah, dude. Shane Bieber, Eovaldi's out there. Kikuchi. went to the Astros and dominated. Walker Buehler is a free agent, dude. There's some names.
Right. But also like guys like the what do you call it? The closer for the Brewers is on the market. You can have one of the best closers.
Yeah, Devin Williams. Devin Williams.
If you would like, man.
Yeah, well, here's the other thing, Chinch. I'm going to be interested to see this offseason. Is it going to be like last offseason where Jordan Montgomery signs last second for nothing? He fires Boris. Where Snell signs for an opt-out, 3 years, $90 million with an opt-out, and he opts out. Bellinger signs late with the Cubs, 3 for $80, and he has an opt-out. Like, I'm interested to see what's the market going to be like. What are clubs willing to do? What's going on here? Because last offseason we were like, what's going on with these big free agents? Here we are saying, look at all these guys, and then we could see the same stuff as last year. Like, we're not giving guys 6-year deals anymore, dude. 7-year deals. If you're 30+ years old, you're probably getting 4 years max, maybe.
Right, exactly. And again, you said the Boris factor. I still put him up as one of the greatest of all time in any.
He's
sport.
the greatest. He's the greatest.
Okay. Yes, but there's this thing the last couple of years where it's like people are trying to correct the market around him. It's interesting to see if his players trust him the way they would have 5 years ago. And on the flip side, the guy's a genius. I'm sure he's got a contingency plan for what happened to him and his players last year.
I was going to say, Scott's nuts, dude. Right. Scott's always ahead of the curve. Yes. And at the end of the day, he's got a plan.
Yes, and it's usually good. I mean,
he's got a plan. Exactly. He figures it out. Figures it out.
All right. Well, this is a fun time. I'm excited we're doing this. It's like this is a really exciting offseason because I think a lot of teams can get better. It's not just like 4 teams are going to get everybody. I think you can be smart and all that kind of stuff.
I agree.
One other thing you want to hit on real quick, your boy Terry Francona did have something to say.
Oh, well, I saw Tito say something about Elly De La Cruz, and he was like, hey, listen, I want this guy to be the best player in the game on one of the best teams in the game. And maybe even said the best team in the game. I love that, man. That's what Tito brings. Tito brings that mentality of like, no, when I come here, everyone's going to be uplifted. Everyone's going to feel like they have a role and they're one of the best players. But he actually has a guy that could be one of the greatest players out there in Elly De La Cruz, and I feel like there's another level he can go to consistently. Like, he gets hot, he gets cold. A guy like that's young, you want to get him to learn to play the game one pitch at a time over 600 at bats. And if he does that, his numbers will be exponentially better. And I think a guy like Terry Francona can bring that out in Elly De La Cruz. So it's exciting.
It is exciting. And dude, when
you're a Reds fan,
when you're a young man, like when you're 24, 25 and your coach or manager or whoever, your boss at your job says, hey, you're my guy, I believe in you. Doesn't that take, it's not like it takes the pressure off of you where you kind of lay out on it. It's almost like an inspiration, like, oh my God, I can go 0 for 3 today. As long as we'll put the work in and show them tomorrow, I'm going to go 2 for 4. I really do think that makes you play better for the most part.
Dude, I have a story really quick. I mean, Jack McKeon might have saved my career. When I first came up with the Reds, I got that eye injury third day there. I went down. Came back, went 3 for 35, sent down to the minors, came back up. He grabbed me. He kept putting me in the 3-hole, and I'm like, is this guy not watching what's going on? I'm hitting $170. I suck. But the year before, I just hit 380. I had 350 in 3 years in the minors. I rake. I mean, I've always raked wherever I went. And he grabbed me. He pulled me aside, called me in his office one day. He's like, listen. He goes, you're going to hit. He goes, you're going to be an all-star in this league. He goes, you're my number 3 hitter. You're going to be number 3 every day. And he says, I don't care if you hit 200. You're not coming out of that lineup. And I was like, what? Oh, my gosh. And he was dead serious. And he was kind of like bothered that I didn't see that in myself. I remember walking out of that office going, let's go. Let's start picking it up. Like this, if this guy, this manager, that's been around the block, that's been one of the best managers and GMs and Trader Jack, he has such a history in this game. If he's seen Tony Gwynn and some of these great players play, he sees something in you right now that you might not. Go do it. Go prove him right. Go prove him right. And I feel like when I went back, I was like, I hit 300 in the second half, had a great second half. Then the 99 year, I hit 330 with 100 ribbies and 40-some doubles and was all-star, 370 at the break. But I look back, without that vote of confidence from Jack McKeon, pull me into his office, say, you're not my number 3 hitter. You're going to hit in this league. You're going to be an all-star. I don't want to hear the self-talk. The self-talk's got to get a little better. But all of a sudden, it put a belief in me like, dude, let's go. These guys believe in you. So when you see Terry Francona say that about Elly De La Cruz, Elly De La Cruz, who got visited by Tito, I believe, in the Dominican in the offseason, has to look at himself in the mirror and say, let's go. This guy believes in you. There's another level here. This is a great team with the Reds. It's time to go there.
Love it. Love it. All right, that's good. Man, it's going to be a fun Reds year. Reds fans, get excited.
Dude, they should be excited, man.
You got your second baseman back, too. Let's not forget that.
Oh, yeah, Matt McClain's back. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a show I'll throw up there maybe this weekend. Matt McClain. Get the Reds fans to remember that they got a great one.
Yeah, dude. Get that up there. Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
He didn't even play. So.
He didn't even play. Yeah, so it's not like we can talk about season. All right, bro.
All right, brother. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate everyone out there listening. Subscribe, download one time. Let's move those numbers. Let's get those things going. Mom, Dad, call your friends. Do something.
Please.
All right, Chinchy, love you, brother. I'll talk to you. See you tomorrow.
Love it.